Hey there, girlfriend. Ingafay here again. Super excited to be with you. For those that don't know, I'm a confidence coach for home based business owners. And in today's video, I am super excited to share with you one of my coaching girlfriends, Jenny Maxwell. Jenny is a health and wellness coach who hails from Dublin, Ireland, but actually now lives in the United States. She's a mom, she's a wife, she's a friend, she's a daughter. She just really is an awesome gal, and I'm super excited to share with you her today. And what we're going to uncover is how we can get over our limiting beliefs. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Jenny. We'll see you on the other side. Well, hello everyone. Ingafay here, your confidence coach, and super excited to introduce you to one of my coaching girlfriends, Jenny. And she is going to talk to us today about mindset. You know, guys, I am all about mindset and her take on mindset shifts and how it unlocks your unlimited potential. So welcome, Jenny. It's super excited to have you here with us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Cool. So what I would love for you to do is tell us about you, what you do, who you serve, and how you got started being a life coach.
Okay. So once again, my name is Jenny Maxwell. My accent probably sounds a little bit funny to you. So no, I was not born in the United States. I'm originally from Dublin, Ireland, and myself and my husband and my two boys, Jonah and Danny, moved 11 years ago from Dublin to Chicago, and we live here now. I'm a health and wellness coach. I coach professional people in business who want to create a greater sense of balance between work and home life. How I got into coaching really was, I'd like to highlight my own struggles. So I'm here 11 years, and I can hand on heart say for 9 of those years, I felt completely and totally lost. Having left my friends, family, my career as a voiceover artist at home in Ireland, I really struggled to find my network, find new friends, and find a way to kind of fit in this new culture. It wasn't that anybody was nasty to me, it was really me getting in my own way. I just felt like if I accepted this as home, that I would never actually get to go home. But the truth is, as we know, home is wherever you are most happy, and we get to choose happy. So for a long time, I just was really focusing on my family, making sure that other people were okay. I am very honest when I speak about how I suffered from the disease to please others. So for many years, I put everybody else's needs before my own, including micromanaging my husband and my kids and doing everything in the house and making sure that all of their needs were met, but not actually looking inward and being curious about what might have been missing from my life, what might have been calling to be nourished, because we know nourishment is about so much more than just food. So I didn't just stay in the house doing that. I would potentially run and help anybody who needed it. But I would also kind of make decisions for other people. And I had a very good intention. I always thought my idea might have been better. But the truth is, when you do that, what you're really telling another person is that you don't actually believe that they have the capacity to figure something else out on their own. And that leads to resentment on both parts. I'm curious if you've ever noticed, perhaps when you make a suggestion or you say to somebody, oh, you know what you should do, and you give them a whole list of your ideas, and then the other person doesn't follow through, you end up feeling resentful that you gave all your time and energy. And the other person feels resentful that you think that you know better than them, right? So what was very powerful for me when I began my coaching journey was actually noticing that mostly people aren't asking you for advice. Mostly they just want to vent. So discovering coaching 2 years ago really changed my life. And I was my very first client. So I had to look inward and really ask myself, what's missing? What's calling to be nourished? What have I been doing this whole time that's been creating this level of unhappiness? And I found all sorts of ways over those 9 years to kind of numb out from really figuring out what was going wrong inside of me. And that was with food. It was with snacks, it was with people I gave my energy, it was with activities I gave my energy to. And a lot of it was very depleting. So I had to learn to slow it all down and really pay attention to my gut wisdom, my intuition. And your intuition is what you already know to be true. So in doing that, I really discovered what makes me happy. And that was a game changer. My family started getting the A version of me, which of course is what all of us want to give our friends, family, and loved ones. But how can we do that if we don't make our mental and physical health a priority first? So that was something that I had to really learn, was me first, then others. And the second part of that, if somebody's not asking you to solve a problem for them, just listen. So that's where I'm at today. That's what I do for other people.
I think that is so awesome and such great advice. I wish more people would think that way. I think oftentimes that we feel like we're doing someone a service when we're giving people advice. But you're so right. Most of the time people just want to vent. And I feel when you said that about unsolicited advice, that's what I was like, that is so spot on. I can even think about people when they've messaged me on LinkedIn and they say stuff like, oh, well, I looked at your website and I see that you have some errors. Okay, like I asked you to look at my website one time and then you're going to point out my errors and then you expect me to want to hear what you have to say? No, I did not ask you for your opinion. And then the next thing I'm thinking, well, who are you? I mean, what kind of authority do you have to be able to tell me what I need to do with my website? I just thought that was so courageous, so funny. And then Jenny, on top of that, you know what website they were talking about? It wasn't even my branding website. It was my direct sales business website, which I have no control over, which I don't even really think that they looked at. I really think they just sent me that message. I'm thinking they couldn't have looked at the website.
They probably didn't. I'm sure you're right.
There's no way, because you would clearly see that it's a company website. And I'm going to go tell the company, oh, by the way, Susie Q over here says that we got some errors that we need to fix on the company website. Really?
Oh, I know. And people have very good intentions. You know?
Yeah, they do. They have the best intentions, but I have definitely learned not to offer unsolicited advice. I always ask, well, can I share something with you? Or because if they don't want to hear what I have to say, what is even the point of wasting the breath? You know, what is the point?
Agreed. And on the other side of that is we have to ask ourselves, is it empowering or disempowering?
Exactly.
When you tell somebody what to do, because nobody's broken, nobody needs fixing. And you're so wise. I love your strategy of, well, can I offer a suggestion, or would you like to hear another way of doing it? And if they say no, you just accept it.
Yeah, you just let it go. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, you send them to Susie, whoever, who was looking at your website. You send them to her.
She'll tell them what to do, right?
Whether they like it or not.
Okay, so tell me this. What can get in the way of someone being successful when it comes to them achieving their goals?
I can sum this up in one word, and it's more times than not, it's fear. Fear of making changes, and fear, as we know, like on the other side of fear is freedom. So what a coach sees is unlimited potential. And what a client sees when we start off is they don't know the how to get to something. So they know what they want, or they think they know what they want, but they don't know the steps to take to get there. So they focus on the how. Well, with the how all these obstacles get in the way. And then one obstacle stacks on top of another. And suddenly you're too afraid to take a step forward and fall forward and see what good thing might get to happen if you let go of fear. Because something might go wrong, but what if the opposite was true? What if something went great and you were one step closer to achieving your goals? So I would say mostly I do a lot of coaching on letting go of fear and anxiety and just learning to get out of your own way and step into the highest version of yourself so that you can have everything you want and more. And by the way, I don't want to do anything if it isn't fun. So we always work together in a way which is easy and fun. So that's my thinking. I seriously don't want to do anything that isn't fun.
Awesome. So I'm curious, let me say it this way. How does coaching help someone get unstuck?
So the beautiful thing about coaching, I would love to answer this question by starting off by, explaining the difference between counseling or therapy and coaching, because they work actually so well hand in hand. Therapy brings you back to the root or the source of the trauma or problem. And while coaching is different, because coaching is focusing on the you here and now, your present state. And while we dip in and out of things that may have happened in the past in terms of beliefs and identity and where this kind of little roadblock may have stemmed from, we want to focus on where you are right now and where you want to get to. So that's creating small, doable action steps each week and making small changes over time, which end up leading to big results. It's all about habit change.
Yes, it truly is. So where do you think limiting beliefs originate from?
Well, limiting beliefs are fascinating. I actually worked with a client today who she just had such trouble communicating with other people. And when we dug a little and figured out that, she was sort of afraid to use her voice and afraid that people wouldn't like her, and afraid that maybe her opinion wasn't valid in some circles, and maybe people really wouldn't want to listen to her. So when we looked at this limiting belief and then we attached a feeling or emotion to it, well, the feeling is anxiety and upset and fear. So we took a little journey through meditation back through time as to when this may have started. And she could actually identify that this limiting belief started in preschool when she was 3 years old, because she felt like she didn't fit in. And she felt like it was very important for her to be the same as everybody else, and that otherwise people wouldn't like her. So what an excellent strategy she had as a 3-year-old to create love, safety, and belonging, because that's every human's basic need, is to feel love, safety, and belonging. And we'll do whatever it takes to hold a container for that and keep ourselves safe. However, if we carry those limiting beliefs all the way through our lives, they actually get in the way of us having everything we want, because we stay so stuck on what was true for us as a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old. And often these limiting beliefs can actually start at the age of 2 and sometimes even at birth. So coaching her on that and learning ways to scoop up that 3-year-old version of her who is still inside of her, and let her know that all we're doing here is updating the software, and that we will have new strategies in place. Because let's face it, we don't eat, sleep, or play like we did when we were 3. So isn't it true that we would want to update these strategies in terms of who we give our time to, what food we fuel our body with, and how we live our lives, so that we can have everything we want and more, but still holding that container of love, safety, and belonging. So it's creating new behaviors, creating new habits around the person you want to become. It's like being different without having to think about it,
Yes, that is so good, girl. So good. You said, update the software.
Mm-hmm.
I like to refer to it as clearing the cache, similar to what we do on our computer. When you're trying to use a certain program and you have all this cache backed up, and what the cache is, what's happening when you pull up a website, it's just going to what the computer has been to in the past. It's just going straight to that link, instead of going to what is new and improved along the way. Say you made an update on a website and the update is not showing up because it's just going back to what it knew before the update was made. And once you make that update, it's just like, hey, I just cleared the cache, but for whatever reason, it's not working because I'm blocking it because of of the cash that I had in the past. So that is just spot on.
Oh, I love that. It's like, yeah, well, that's another exercise I do with my clients is clearing the clutter, you know, and that's very much like what you were talking about, because we think of clutter in terms of stuff, like a cluttered desk or a cluttered closet, but actually we can have a cluttered mind. And we can fill up our mind with negative self-talk and self-doubt and limiting beliefs. So I like that. I like how you saw the correlation there.
Yes. So I am curious, how can we learn acceptance in order to move forward?
I love that you've just asked me this. We do this by trading judgment for curiosity. People have, you know, like we said before, it's these strategies that we put in place to oftentimes just to keep ourselves safe. And when we create new habits, sometimes it takes a minute. If you've been conditioned to do the same thing a certain way for 20, 30, 40 years, then wouldn't it be true that it's going to take a minute to create new habits so that you're different without having to think about it? So when you fall back or you self-sabotage or in a moment of exhaustion or overwhelm, you slip into that old version of you. Rather than being judgmental and harsh on yourself, you become curious and you wonder, what happened today, or what was missing today that led me to use that old strategy? And it could be that you didn't give yourself 10 minutes of calm, or you didn't exercise that morning, or you're hungry, or you didn't eat the right food, or you didn't sleep the night before. And when you become curious about a behavior and you trade that judgment out for curiosity, it actually creates space for empathy. And you can just be a little gentler on yourself. And another way is when you realize that you've been behaving a certain way because of some person in your life as you were a small person telling you what to do or how to be, and getting in the way of you being who you truly want to be and have what you truly want to have in your life. We always ask, what might their good intention have been? Because every intention starts as a good intention. And when we look at the good intention, it could be simply, well, they just didn't want me to get hurt, or they didn't want me to fail, or they didn't want me to hurt myself, or they didn't want me to eat too much, or whatever the case may be. And when we can identify the good intention and be curious about it, that gives way for empathy. And that's just good all around, and acceptance that this person had a very good intention at the time, or I had a very good intention for behaving that particular way because I was doing the best I could with what I had in that moment.
That's so good. That's so good.
Thank you.
It's so important for us to really reflect on the journey. I think oftentimes we don't think that we should fail. And I think that's often how we're raised. You know, we're taught that we're supposed to get good grades, and getting a bad grade is a bad thing. But in actuality, not necessarily just in life, really in business too, we learn the most when we fail. Granted, the success is for our egos, but the no's is really going to help us make the transformation to grow into that person that we're destined to become, like you talked about earlier. So it's very imperative for us to definitely fail forward to success, because that failure is going to be a key learning. And really to make that, as you said, like you said, trade the judgment to curiosity. We trade the judgment to curiosity. We want to trade the failure to a learning.
Well, I would love to offer a reframe on failure, if you're open to
sure, share.
There's really no such thing as failure, only feedback. We're not going to get it right all the time, but something good will always come out of it. So when we're falling forward towards our goal, just be open to, okay, what might this feedback do for me? How can I apply it to something greater? And it's also a kind of a gentler approach, you know. I love what you said about the grades there. I mean, like, I hear this all the time, and I have coached, you know, many people I've coached out of perfect over the last 2 years, and parents who have, again, very good intentions. You've got to get straight A's, you have to get good grades. Or, we identify ourselves as good or bad based on how well we do at one thing or another. Whether you score a goal at soccer, or you win a relay race, an athletic race or something, or you get straight A's the whole way through high school, we're setting our kids up for really a hard time going forward, because it's so hard to maintain that expectation of perfection, and it's just not real life. At some point, things don't work out for you. And the truth of the matter is that winning is easy. Winning is the easiest part. It's how you show up when you don't win is really what will highlight your greatest strengths as a human being. So it's important for it not to go well sometimes, so that you can see, okay, well, how did I show up, and how did I make a change, and what did this failure do for me? What did this feedback do for me? Oh, I learned something new about myself, and that's okay.
I love that. Failure is feedback. I had to write that down.
Isn't that good? It's like,
yeah, that was good. That was good. I never thought about it like that, but that's essentially what it is. That was right on point. That's exactly what failure is feedback.
Right.
And granted, the feedback that we get when we win, like you said, I really think it's just for our ego. I mean, we may have had so many times that we failed, and then we finally get the feedback that what we did was correct.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, now I kind of I figured this out. I feel like I'm going through that right now. Because I'm in the process of delegating some of my work tasks off to other folks, and just trying to find the person that I feel that I can trust the task to. Because why would you want to pay someone and you have to end up doing it too? That makes no sense, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's very imperative to make sure you have someone that you can really give it to, and then be able to love on them and allow them to get the feedback as they continue to learn exactly what you're looking for in the process. And then once that feedback is to a level that is satisfactory, you can really be like, okay, well, I'm really giving this to you now because you got it.
Oh, that's wonderful. And you're going to trust your gut.
Yeah.
Because you know exactly the type of person who you want to engage with and work with.
Yes.
So you have that trust within you, which means you're going to pick exactly the right person who will be open to feedback. So the whole process will be easy and fun and based on trust.
Exactly. And the feedback will come both ways. It's not going to just come from me. I want them to give me feedback as well.
Oh,
that's imperative too. Yes. Mm-hmm. Because so many times I think people feel like because I guess they deem themselves as the boss, that they know everything, when in actuality, that's not the case. Because I'm not a proficient person in social media or video editing or email marketing or being a copywriter. I can do it, but I don't do it like an expert can do it. So It's like comparing somebody that's playing on a middle school basketball team to an NBA player. Come on now, there's no there's no comparison.
You're so right. But we can fall down that rabbit hole, and it really stems from wanting to be in control of something. And really, when we look at control, there is such a huge element of fear attached to anybody who's trying to control something or someone. Mm-hmm. I was guilty of that. I had nothing of my own when I moved here. And so I was so controlling over everything that happened in the house. And the beautiful part was when I started really figuring out what I might want to do. And I noticed, oh my God, my family are delighted that I'm not here telling them what they have to do. And they're so happy that they can get to relax. And my husband can show me, I can actually make a cup of tea without you directing me how to do it, or I can make a meal for you. And then suddenly everybody felt into that experience of the house being lighter. I felt like I had time for me, which gave way for the boys to do their own thing a little bit without me telling them what they should be doing. And I really let go of that feeling of they don't know any better. I have to be in control, otherwise everything's going to go wrong. The truth is, it isn't. They're going to be just fine. Right. But it's hard, and it can take a minute when you've been on your own doing your business for so long, and then suddenly you know, and it's suddenly and it's going well. It might take a minute to find the right person, but you will. The right person is out there for you. That's so exciting for you.
Yes.
At that point.
Yes. And I've had those moments. I can promise you I've had those moments. Is this really worth it? And then I think about the time that I'm doing the things that I have to do. And I know for me to really launch my business to the next level, that I'm going to have to delegate, because there's only but so many hours in the day, and I'm not going to be able to do it all. So I totally get that. So I wanted to ask you one final question. How can reframing help a person stay positive in the moment without self-doubt and overthinking?
Reframing is so powerful. It's all about, you know, how you look at the world. So one person might be, and this is like really simple, but one person might get stuck in traffic and get really frustrated and start playing the blame game that somebody delayed them at home, or they didn't sleep last night because something kept them awake and it's somebody else's fault, and now they're going to be late for work. A reframe on that is, oh, do I get to have 10 minutes of peace in this car, or 20 minutes of peace in the car with no radio on, and turn my cell phone off and just crack the window open and pay attention to the sounds outside? What good thing might get to happen if I just settle in to this, which is out of my control, this traffic jam? Another thing is when somebody hears no. So when you're signing clients, or you're trying to get something to go well in your business and you're hearing no, a good reframe on no is not yet. And I love this reframe because kids teach us this all the time. Kids are relentless. They never want to take no for an answer. So if they come and they ask you, can I go to the park? And you say no, they'll come back with a million different ways to ask you. They'll be like, okay, but when can we go? Well, can we go tomorrow? Or can I go later on today? And can I bring a friend? Or when can I go? And they'll just keep going until eventually you're worn down and you're like, fine, we'll just go. So in their minds, no just means not yet. So it's being patient and flipping from negative to positive and asking yourself, well, what good thing might get to happen here as a result? So my last example of this is the other day, I had a client call with someone and she didn't show up for the call. And I messaged her and I didn't hear back. So I sent another message and I said, there must have been an emergency, or something must have come up. So don't worry about it. We'll try and reschedule, or let me know when you want to reschedule. Now, the old version of me would have ended up feeling frustrated, and then the self-doubt would have kicked in. Oh, maybe she didn't want to come to the call because she doesn't think I'm a good coach, or maybe she doesn't believe I'm adding any value, or maybe she doesn't want to work with me anymore. That would have been the old version of me. The new version thought, okay, I have an hour to myself here. What else can I get done? What good thing might get to happen as a result of me having a whole 60 minutes to myself to do something else in the house or with my kids, or to do nothing at all, to read my book? So there's a reframe right there. It's really about making life work for you and focusing on the positive versus the negative, because when you focus on the positive, it increases motivation to follow through and get you closer to where you want to be in your life.
I love it. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. It is so important. It's so important to be positive, more than people know, because we attract how we think. So if we're thinking positive thoughts, positive things happens to us. Now, I don't want anyone to think that just because you're thinking positively, nothing's going to happen bad. But because you have that positive mindset, when something does happen bad, you look at it, you have a totally different perspective than someone that's thinking, oh, it's something that's always happening. It never fails kind of thing. It definitely has a different perspective.
I love that. And it's also having a moment to identify, because we all have energy, right? We have energy, and it's like we don't have energy for everything, but we have energy for the most important things. So we can give our energy to energy depleting activities.
Exactly.
We're depleting people or depleting foods. But at the same time, we have the same energy over here that could actually be put to very good use. And when you use your energy positively and you hold on to your personal power, well, then you end up, that motivation just keeps rolling like a snowball. You just want more and more and more. And then your positivity and good energy being used the right way will lead you exactly where you want to be eventually.
Right, because it helps you be more creative.
I love that. Exactly. I love that. Creativity is everything.
Yes, 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 yes. So tell us how how everybody can get in touch with you. I'm going to show your website right now. So.
Oh, thank you. So on my website, you will see a little button that says to click here for a discovery call. And what the discovery call does, and that's free to everybody, by the way, the discovery call really gives us an opportunity to figure out if we're a good fit for one another, and if I'm the right coach for you, and if you're the ideal client for me. And the good news is, if we're not a good fit, I know loads of coaches. I'm quite happy to refer people out if I don't think they're the right person for me or I'm the right person for them. So we always start with a discovery call. And then at the end of that call, if we feel like we're a good fit for one another, the sky's the limit. We take it from there.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, it was so great talking to you, Jenny. So if any of you are looking for a health and wellness coach, Jenny, it definitely could be a potential fit for you. So check out our website. Do you have any kind of freebie, Jenny, that you're giving away on your website as well?
Yes, I do. I have a free nourishment series, which is a 3-week series that focuses on food, movement, and creating space for calm in your day. And all you have to do is sign up for that, and you have access to that series.
Awesome. So all you got to do is go to her website. It's listed here on the screen. Be sure to go to the website and check out her freebie. And of course, if you're interested in the discovery call, she would love to chat with you to see if you are a good fit. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.